Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Studio 7 Friday, right?
Happy Friday.
Here we are.
Feels good.
Fantastic. It's taken a long time to get here this week. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it's February. Basically, this month feels like it lasts forever.
It does. I don't know why the shortest month of the year takes the longest to get through.
Because it stinks.
Well, it
January,
doesn't.
February, and March stink. I'm
Well,
very
yes,
adamant
because
about
we
these.
live in Buffalo
Sure.
and it's the winter months, and
Yes.
I understand, but I see a lot of people, as soon as like any snowstorm comes through, there's a lot of people that get like their, I want to call them ski-doos. They're not ski-doos.
Snowmobiles.
They get them out, and like I see the excitement that goes through it.
Yeah.
And then we get something like earlier this week when there was snow and sleet and then rain.
Mm-hmm.
You never want the rain part of it. Like if it's going to be a storm, just stay snow
Yeah.
so everyone can enjoy it.
Oh,
But
my driveway was
here we are.
disgusting this week. It was like the thin
Yeah.
layer of ice that you could barely walk on, even though I kept salting it to try and de-ice it. And then it snowed on top of that.
And then it
when I
re-ices.
snow blowed and then it re-ices, I'm like, I just can't. I sat there with a metal shovel and just hacked away at my driveway for
Yeah.
minutes and minutes. It just didn't do anything. It was great.
I know that's one of my biggest things. Like I like the they call it, is it the apron of the driveway? It's at the end of the year.
yeah.
Like I like when that's clear of snow. Like I don't like track marks through it. I don't like the icy stuff. So when it gets liquidy enough, if let's coin that term,
Liquidy enough.
when it gets liquidy enough, you can kind of chisel away at it. And I didn't get out there soon enough, so now there's just like this mound of ice.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
Do you plan on watching the game on Sunday?
Well, I will be going to a Super Bowl party.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean I'll be watching the game,
Okay.
however. But that's how I like to watch games. I can hear it. Let's be honest. I don't care about it,
Sure.
to be completely honest. My mom loves the Eagles, so I'll kind of root for them. But other than that,
Your mom
I mean,
loves the Eagles. Why?
yes. So when she was little, I think it was a quarterback or somebody from the Eagles came to her elementary school.
Probably Ron Jaworski. He's from Lackawanna.
I'm not sure. I'll have to text her
Yeah.
and figure it out. And she thought he was the coolest guy
Yeah.
and the kindest thing to come in and talk to her in her class. And she's been an Eagles fan ever since.
Yeah, that's cool.
So when the Bills and the Eagles played, she had her Bills jersey on underneath. It was a long sleeve something. And then she had her Eagles jersey on top of that, because I think the Eagles played first.
Who would she have
I think.
They did. Who would she root for if it was Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl?
I think it would be
The
the
Bills,
Bills,
right?
It would definitely be the Bills, but I mean, it would
Yeah.
be kind of a no lose situation for her.
I'm going to spend a lot of time on Sunday thinking about that. I feel like I should be at the Super Bowl. I feel like I watch it. I'll still, of course, watch it. I think that there's a lot of people who are like, boycott the Super Bowl. I don't really think people are going to boycott the Super Bowl. I still think people are going to watch, but I will very much begrudgingly have it on and be thinking to myself, man, the Bills lost by 3 points, or else they would be in this game, and then selfishly I would be there too. And so that's what I'm going to be thinking about a lot on Sunday.
See, because you have to think of it in the terms of a professional kind of thought to be down there, to be covering it, to, all of that stuff. As just fans here, it's kind of like, okay, well, if they did win and now they're in the Super Bowl, like there would be so much angst, I think, going into the game. Like now you could just watch it and whatever happens. When you are a part of it,
This would have been the longest week in the history of Buffalo.
Yes.
Probably in 30
2
something
weeks,
years.
right? Because it's 2 weeks from the last game,
Yeah,
right?
but I think the first week is excitement. I think the
Okay.
first week is, I can't believe that they are in. I know they're not.
I
can't
know.
believe they made it to the Super Bowl. And then it would shift to, oh my goodness gracious, they're playing in the Super Bowl. And I would
Yeah.
imagine that is how the emotions are right now in Kansas City, but more so Philadelphia, just because Kansas City been there, done that. Looking for
Did they play against each other in the Super Bowl? When did the Eagles
2 years
win?
ago? 2 years ago. The Eagles won in 2017 against the Patriots.
Okay.
But the Eagles then lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And that was like a big thing because Travis Kelce played against his brother Jason Kelce.
Right. Okay. Yes,
So
I
that
do
was
remember
the
that.
whole ordeal
Okay,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So, yeah, this is the second time in 2 years that they have played against each other in the Super Bowl. But I could not imagine what this week would have been like and what it would have been in New Orleans and back here in Buffalo. So what could have been, maybe one day.
I know. I don't think. I don't think a lot of people would have like eaten this whole week.
No, they would've been
You
so-
know, like you're just worried all your superstitions are happening.
And it would have been an incredibly crazy week here to every story. And I know it's sports. I know people say, some people don't like sports, and I totally understand that. It would have been everything. It would have taken over the community. Every single
Right.
story we would have done this week would have been about the impact it's having on the community, how it's impacting local businesses, travel of people in New
How many
Orleans,
people are going
how many
down
people are
there.
going to New
Yeah.
Orleans, how are they getting to New Orleans, all of these different factors, the different parties that would happen here. I mean, we do a lot of the planning ahead of time, and I always hate doing the planning because then it feels like it's inevitably not going to happen.
Right.
But one of the things we talked about was like, what about the retirement homes? Like, there's people in those retirement homes who have waited their entire life to see
Yeah.
this chance.
Right.
Like, what a story you could tell there. What moments you could capture there. And then, they come up short.
Yeah, and then you're not going to the retirement homes.
I hope we're having this I hope we're having this conversation again next year. But obviously it was an incredible year either way. But I know a lot of people feel the same way.
So
They're like,
say they went.
yeah.
Did they have a chance
Yeah, for sure.
with the Eagles?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. It would have been a pick 'em, which would have meant Vegas would have said it's just whoever you think is going to win.
Really? You
Yeah.
think that? Wow.
So the Chiefs are a minor favorite. The Chiefs are about a 1.5 favorite. So in
Okay.
betting terms, they are -1.5. They are expected to win by 1.5 because you can't win by a half point. So then you're
Okay.
betting, do you think they win by more than 1.5 or less? So for you to pitch your bet, they would have to win by 2 points or more. If they won by 1 point or lost, then you would lose your money. So it would have been right down the middle if it was Bills and Eagles, right down the middle.
Maybe I got to do some betting. That way I'll watch.
Oh, it'll make the game a little
I
bit
got a
more.
football square. That's about as much as I.
During the
my niece's dance something or other. I think I've got a football square.
We're going to talk betting during the commercial break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
Yes. Did you think I was going to say welcome back?
I was
No,
thinking
but you
about it.
started the first segment, so I thought
did.
you were going to do it too.
I wasn't sure if we were ping ponging, but here we are.
Yeah. So I'm going to do two. So every year, we always had at my neighbor's house a massive Super Bowl party. We're talking about 50, 60, 70 people. All of the kids would be downstairs. All of the adults would be upstairs. Now I'm an adult, which is crazy. So
I know.
So I still feel like I should be going to the basement, but I think I would be upstairs now. So we've done the same thing for years and years and years. But it was so different because the Bills were so bad. So it never really felt like they even had a chance to be in the game. So the dynamic over the years has changed because it has gone from enjoying the Super Bowl to hate watching the Super Bowl because so many people at the party are going to be like, the Bills should be in this game. I can't believe the Bills aren't in this game. And it almost ruins the day. The Super Bowl legitimately was one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah.
And now I hate watch it. I sit there
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, yeah, here, another Super Bowl. Great.
I was going to say, you could tell we're from different decades because you're like, the Bills were so bad when I was a kid. When I was a kid,
Yeah,
they were really good.
Yeah.
They just lost in incredible fashion.
Yes.
Several years in a row.
in my life that I can remember, I've never seen them in the Super Bowl. Like I know that they had the 4 straight Super Bowls and everything. Obviously, when you do this job, you got to know about all that stuff. But I don't remember any of those. I was born in November of 1992. So
I'm not putting my numbers
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
but I don't remember fully like what we were doing and
the
everything.
scale and the
yeah,
magnitude of it. Yeah.
but I remember watching. I remember losing. I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
that wasn't great.
So I got to figure out. So I'm going to go to the party. I'm going to go to 2 different places. I'm going to go to the party that I always go to, and then I'm going to probably meet up with some friends and watch the second half of the game. So I got to figure out something to make because it's like a potluck. Everybody's got to bring something.
So do you have to make?
Could be anything.
Yeah, I
just
was
not
going
a
to say like an appetizer or like a
The problem
dessert
is I just
or whatever.
don't know how to make a lot of those types of things. I
Okay.
feel like I know how to make food.
So let me tell you something. It's
You know what I mean? Like I don't
It's a cr-
I don't know how to make like an appetizer because I'm never like just making
all
an
you gotta
appetizer
do
at
is
home.
Google it.
Yeah,
You know,
It's
YouTube
like, you
it,
can
and
Google
it will
chicken
just-
wing dip.
Yeah.
Like, but everybody's gonna bring that, so I got to bring something
Yeah.
a little bit different.
So let me tell you, I typically bring a BLT dip
Ooh,
to anywhere I go.
whoa!
It is a fan favorite because nobody really thinks of it being like BLT dip. It's like a taco salad or, whatever. It's super, super simple. You take a pound do you know how to make bacon?
Yes.
Okay. Fry a pound of
That was
bacon.
such an insult. Do you know how to make bacon?
Well,
Yeah.
some people don't.
I
Some
can
people
figure
put
out.
it in the oven and stuff. Like you can't put it in the oven. You gotta
Get it extra
fry
crispy.
it. Yeah, you gotta fry it and it's fat.
1
right?
pound bacon.
1 pound of bacon.
I'm literally writing this down. Okay.
1 cup of sour cream.
Okay.
1 cup of mayonnaise.
Okay.
You fry the bacon, you crumble it up, you stick it in a bowl with all of that other stuff.
Yep.
You mix it up.
Okay.
You lay it flat in a 9x13 or, get a pan, a throwaway pan. And then you chop up. This is the longest part of it.
Romaine and
You chop up a little bit of lettuce and tomato, sprinkle it on top, and you can either serve it. I like it with club crackers because then it tastes buttery, then it tastes like almost like a sandwich in a way. Or you could do tortilla chips or whatever. Amazing.
So I literally wrote down BLT dip, 1 pound bacon, 1 cup sour cream, 1 cup mayo, chopped lettuce, tomatoes, club crackers / chips. That's all I need.
So the lettuce and tomato, they go on top. You don't mix that in.
So the sour cream, mayo, bacon is the base, then lettuce, then tomato to garnish, and then all right, I'm literally gonna make this.
So you cover the whole thing with lettuce, and then however much tomato you want to put on there too.
I also found, this is a complete side note, I found myself, I live on Grand Island, and there's a Facebook page on Grand Island called the Greater Ideas for Grand Island page. And I live apparently really close to a farm that sells fresh bacon. So I might have to go be bougie and get fresh bacon for this and try and make this. But this sounds like a really good idea because this is not something that I would ever make. And I know a lot of people will make a taco dip. Somebody will make a buffalo chicken dip. And those are great.
Yeah,
those
all
are delicious.
those dips.
But this, I mean,
the bread, the rye, and the dunk, all that. So
my speed
that one's a crowd pleaser.
My speed is usually going and picking up something. I'm always the guy who will I'll bring the cookies. I'll bring the cookie cake, something that I can tangibly just go and buy.
Right.
But for the Super Bowl, I feel like I want to try making something. So this is going to be in the wheelhouse.
Well, let me know what you think.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that we used to always do for the Super Bowl during almost all of the commercial breaks, and it was the most fun thing ever, was we would play left, right, center. You know how to play left, right, center? Yep. Mm-hmm. So we would sit downstairs and we would start at $1 a roll, then we would go to $5 a roll, then we
big spenders over here.
Then we would go to $20 a roll. It was
as the night progresses.
You want to talk about intense? Then you end the night. We would do, I don't know, it would probably never go higher than 50. But we would use trading cards. So we would put if you wanted in, you would put the $50 on the floor, and then your money would be trading cards. So you would get through. We didn't use the little chips. We'd use trading cards. So we would put the trading cards down, the 3 trading cards, and we'd have a group of 12 or 13 people, and then the adults would come down because they knew the big rolls were coming. So the adults would come down, and then they would get involved, and we're screaming at each other. It's like, you go right now, right. And we would scream at each other, and it was some of the most
high stakes.
Unbelievable. You felt like $1 million if you won one of those rolls. It was like, wow, what a moment.
It is.
So that, and then the Super Bowl squares. Super Bowl squares are so much fun. Do you know what your numbers are?
I don't.
You'll get them
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm sure because I'll be with my cousin this weekend, so she'll be able to tell me what they are and what I'm rooting for. But honestly, I think you win the most when you have no idea what you're like. Oh, wow, I won that quarter. That's great.
Yes, exactly. Have you ever won big?
No.
Yeah.
No, not on anything like that. My mom has won $1,000.
What?
Yeah.
$1,000?
And we were going to Aruba. She's like, I won $1,000. I'm taking you to dinner. I'm like, woohoo.
You're like, okay, this is a win. The Super Bowl is, do you watch the commercials? Do you care?
I always love to watch the commercials. I feel like they just haven't been as good lately.
Sure.
I always love the Budweiser ones because, I mean, the Clydesdales. I mean, who doesn't love those?
Yeah. But the dynamic has changed so much over the years. Now you can see the commercials the week ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see them on social media. So they're not even a surprise really anymore.
Same like with Black Friday and stuff. Like, all the sales before they're happening. So it's just not as exciting.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
All right. So welcome back. Now, we aren't just talking about Super Bowl. It's really just about parties and Super Bowl, I guess.
For sure.
So we go to my cousin's house every single year. And one of the funnest things that we do is bet on the most random things. So I have to get to the bank at some point and get some singles and some fives and some tens because you can bet whatever you want. And it's just odd stuff like the over and under. I think the national anthem is like 3 minutes or no, a minute 30. I don't know, whatever it is. Like, is it over or under that? What's the first play? Are they going to choose heads or tails for the toss?
Oh, the coin toss is a heavy bet thing. Like so much money is moved on the coin toss.
So it's going to be all of that stuff. So that makes it fun. Like, okay, I don't care about the two teams that are playing realistically, But if you put some money on different things that are going to happen within the game, not necessarily who's going to score, the most points or whatever, just like the fun stuff,
Yeah.
are they going to show Taylor Swift
Of
or,
course,
like that
yeah.
type of stuff, or how many times
Yeah.
or, something like that. So I'm excited to do that type of stuff.
One of the games that we do is we'll put in $10 a person and we'll go around the room and everybody will pick cards and we'll draft players in order of the cards. So we'll go, ace down or whatever. So everybody in the room will put in $10 and then you will draft who you think will score the next touchdown.
Okay.
And then all the money goes in the pot. And then if somebody who scores the next touchdown wasn't taken, then the money all rolls over and you do it again. And you do it again. And it's really, really fun because if you have 10 guys or 10 people in the room, whatever it is, and you've got $100 in the pot and 10 players are taken, but then somebody was not taken, then all of a sudden the pot jumps up to $200. And then you're really on edge of like, okay, I've got Travis Kelce to score the next touchdown. You've got Jalen Hurts to score the next touchdown. So it does make it that much more enjoyable because it's the game within the game.
Right.
Now you're not even just rooting for the outcome anymore. You're rooting for, okay, I hope this happens. And that makes when you're not invested in the game in a way that people here in Buffalo won't really be invested, I think that obviously makes it more enjoyable.
Now, not to bring it back to if the Bills were in, but if they were, like, that would be something I would try to be in like side conversations the whole time. Like I wouldn't even want to try and watch. Like my anxiety level would be like up here.
I would have been in New Orleans, but one of the stories that I was thinking about if the Bills were in the Super Bowl was I would have loved to know how this would have impacted, because everybody does the story with the pizzerias before them, and everybody's the pizza and the wings, how much money they're going to make and all this stuff.
I worked at a pizzeria.
Oh, I bet.
Super Bowl weekend was a whoosh.
But I wonder what it would be like. I don't think people would be having parties. You could go both ways. You could say everybody's going to have a party, or I think really diehard Bills fans, a lot of people would want to watch it on their own, and they would not want to be with other people because they would want to be in a controlled environment so they could truly watch the game. I know if I was not doing what I do and the Bills were in the Super Bowl, I promise you I would watch the game by myself.
Right.
I could not be around other people. I would need to watch the game by myself, and I feel like there's a lot of people who probably feel the same way.
I'm sure there are. I also think like family support would be what a lot of people would want. Like I would definitely want to be around my family for sure. I don't think I'd want to be by myself.
I'd want to be by myself until it ended. And then if depending on the outcome, then it would be either the greatest celebration that this city has ever seen or a really, really, I heard the story so many times of when they lost to the Giants in the first Super Bowl, my dad, my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather drove to Rochester. They watched it with my aunt and uncle. And they watched Wide Right happen. They got in the car. Nobody said anything. They just, my dad would tell me the story. They all held hands around the television, around the tube television. They watched the kick miss. My dad had Bills season tickets, obviously was a huge Bills fan. Everybody got in the car without saying anything. They drove home from Rochester, he said, in a torrential downpour. So the skies opened up. He was so depressed that he called in to work for like 2 or 3 days. He didn't go. And then when he went back, my mom sent him a plant. I don't know why. She thought it would be like a way of cheering him up. That plant was in his office for 27 years.
Oh my gosh.
When he left that job in the 2010 range, so 30 years. So it was like around 2010, that plant he took out of his office. Like one of those just big things that sits in a corner, like water it a couple times a week.
Yeah.
So that was their first Super Bowl story. So
my goodness.
I just can't.
We've just
the
suffered.
Heartbreak.
Yeah, so much heartbreak.
Makes you feel like eventually they've got to win one, right? It
Yeah.
feels like if you've gone through all of this.
At some point,
Yeah.
you'll win.
Yeah, but what if you don't? That's kind of always at the back of the head. What if you don't?
That's why I don't put too much into it, Like I like to even if it was the big game, like I just try not to really pay too much attention
Sure.
because why am I being impacted by it? It's the game that's being played and then it's over and then you kind of have to let it go.
I'll tell you this, and this is just my perspective of it. It's impacting you because of the way it brings people together and the way that people so deeply care about it. That said, letting something that you can't control have such a massive impact on your life,
Right.
is a dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
Because you can't control the outcome, and that's
Exactly.
really, really scary. But I understand why it means so much to so many people. And I feel like you're from here. I'm from here. Mercedes is from here. Like, we're from here. We understand what the team means to the community. A lot of people care about a lot of sports teams, but it's different in Buffalo. It really is. So whenever this happens, whenever they are in the Super Bowl,
They better win.
yeah. And I hope all of you can enjoy the game in peace and there's a good outcome and you can have the moment that you've dreamt of for your entire life, because it feels like one day that has to happen.
Yeah. And the city quite literally needs to be prepared
Oh, yeah.
for it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's just like one day homecoming
No.
and that's it.
No, it'd be a
like, they
week.
need to be ready to.
Boots on the ground.
Oh,
quite
yeah.
literally. It's going to be insane. Well, regardless, maybe next year, obviously, for Autumn, I'm Matt. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you Monday.